What's good, y'all? Welcome back to a brand new episode of the weirdest videos from all over the internet. Without further ado, let's get to the video.
Yes.
This specific episode is a very disturbing episode, and I remember watching this episode. What's it called? Sales de baño, lo más oscuro. This kid, he's frantically moving, kind of looks like he's on some possessed shit. He's just moving like, and you see a bunch of doctors trying to restrain him, but they keep saying, yo, this kid is like abnormally strong. They were telling the mom, there's something wrong with your kid, bro. This isn't normal. Did he take anything? And the mom is saying, no, he's a saint.
The mom's in denial.
The sister, she ends up finding something in his room, a little baggie with some white powder in it, and she's like, esto es cocaína.
Yeah, but it was dandruff.
And he's slowly becoming an addict.
How old is this kid? How old does he
In high
look?
school.
Then they find out that the shit that he's taking is cheaper than actual. He starts getting crazy, he starts burning up, and he has to take off his clothes. Him and his girlfriend go to a party, and they take regular, and he goes back home, and he's kind of like, what the fuck is this whack? I want the other stuff. Fast forward to another party, he wasn't taking the regular like everybody else, he was taking his own shit. And then this is where like shit just hit the fucking fan, bro. He starts taking his clothes off. The girlfriend's like, ooh, let me like get him a little more hot, let me dance on him. But him, since he's tripping, he starts seeing her like evil,
Like she's a demon or something?
like some trippy ass shit, bro. And then it just goes to him lunging at her, and he starts eating her face.
Is this
Bro,
episode of what, Loop
man,
episode?
Yeah.
and I don't understand why he's the one who got the fucking win, the happy ending at the end.
You know what? They came to the conclusion what he was actually fucking doing, right?
Solid.
Bath salts.
Yeah, let's not act like the last clip was normal. First thing first, the mom calling her son a saint is like crazy to me. He's literally closer to being a demon than a saint. The boy is 12 years old, snorting coke and basically doing drugs and eating his girlfriend's face. At that age, personally, when it comes to me, not only did I not do drugs, but I couldn't even speak to a girl because I was a shy little boy, let alone eat her face. What kind of family is this?
If you found out your sweet little neighbour was actually a serial killer. Dorothea Puente opened up a boarding house in California in the 70s. This catered mostly to clients who were struggling with addiction and mental illness. However, things would only get worse for these residents. One by one, they started passing away, and people started asking questions about what was going on behind the scenes. In the fascinating podcast Killer Psyche, retired FBI agent Candice DeLong explores Dorothea's case and the hidden desires and motives of more cold-blooded killers. It would take years for the gruesome truth to be uncovered about the killer landlady. When officers eventually dug up her garden, it was discovered there was at least 7 bodies buried on her land. Everyone was wondering what on earth caused this sweet old lady to start murdering her tenants one by one. Tune in to Killer Psyche to find out. Check out Wondery's Exhibit C library for your true crime fix. From shocking scams to crazy cults to cold case murders, Exhibit C literally has the most nail-biting crime stories documented in such thorough research ways.
I don't know how to feel about this, really. Look at her. Who would have expected this innocent-looking grandma to be out here murdering her fellow neighbors and burying them in her backyard? Like it's a regular hobby for her or something. She's making it seem normal. Who would have expected? Look at her. What's wrong with you, Granny? This story is making me fear my own grandma. I don't know how to feel about this.
In 2015, Chase Dowell was hunting with his brother in Montana when a worst nightmare situation happened. He came face to face with a male grizzly bear weighing up to 400 pounds. Chase only managed to walk a few steps backwards before the bear knocked him down and bit him directly on his head. After this, he bit Chase's leg and shook it around like a dog playing with a toy. The bear then tossed him in the air and continued to try and bite him. As the bear continued to attack him, Chase remembered a story that he read in a magazine once, and I quote, "I remember an article my grandma gave me a long time ago that said large animals have bad gag reflexes. So I shoved my right arm down his throat." Crazy enough, after Chase did this, the bear left and Chase escaped what was almost certain death. Chase's brother then drove him to a hospital where he received treatment for gashes he sustained during the attack. Thankfully, he did not sustain any life-threatening injuries and went on to make a full recovery. But as crazy as it is, if he didn't shove his arm down the bear's throat, he would most likely be dead right now.
This is literally one of the creepiest animations I've seen in my life. And are we gonna ignore the fact that the dude with the yellow shirt was built like a bear himself? My mans looked like a grizzly bear. he probably would have been able to save his friend if he hadn't ran away. But and another thing that I must talk about is the fact that the dude had to save himself by deep throating a bear using his arm. Like he was literally fisting him. I mean, that's kind of kinky, that's probably a new fetish that I never heard of before. And guess what? I'm not interested. On to the next video.
Strangled to the point that her neck was broken by her teacher, who then left her for dead in the woods. He was recently released from prison, and the video of them finding her is absolutely horrifying. This is the disturbing case of Ashley Reeves. On April 27th, 2006, 17-year-old Ashley Reeves told her parents that she was going to a job interview. So she took her boyfriend's car and then left her Belleville, Illinois home. But in all reality, Ashley was actually going to meet up with 26-year-old Samson Shelton, who at the time was a driver's ed teacher, but he had previously been a teacher at her middle school. Unbeknownst to everyone, the two had been having an intimate relationship together. At least that's what Samson says. What he was actually doing was grooming and abusing her since she was a minor. So when a few hours passed and Ashley never came home, her parents immediately reported her missing to the police. They then found the car Ashley was driving abandoned on the side of the road, and in it were the clothes that she was supposed to be wearing to the job interview. At this point, everyone knew that Ashley was in danger, so her mom started combing through her phone records to see who she'd been talking to in the days leading up to her disappearance. One number stood out, and it belonged to Samson. So when her mom called him, Samson said that he had no idea where Ashley was and hung up on her. At this point in time, he was line dancing at a country bar. Friends of Ashley's came forward and told police that she'd been seeing an older man and had planned to meet him the night she disappeared. This was enough evidence to bring Samson in for questioning, which is exactly what the police did. It would take 12 hours of interrogating for him to begin confessing, but at first he admitted that he was with her the day she went missing. But he said that they had had an argument while he was driving, and he kicked her out of the car, leaving her behind. He said he didn't do a single thing to hurt her. A few more hours would go by before he confessed to everything. He admitted to having an intimate relationship with Ashley, but said that she was persistent and that she was the one who pursued him for a long time. He then admitted to having an argument the day she went missing while they were driving. He said he tried to end things with her and she got mad, so he put her in a chokehold, which ended up breaking her neck. Samson said that her whole body went limp, and in a panic, he dumped her body in a wooded area in Citizens Park. He said that he wanted to make it look like she had been strangled in the woods. So to emphasize this, he put his belt around her neck and strangled her repeatedly. At one point, he was pulling the belt so tight around her neck that it actually broke. Thinking she was dead, he left her in the woods and then went line dancing at the country bar. This is when he spoke to Ashley's mom on the phone. She was looking for her daughter and he had just gotten done brutally strangling her. Yet he decided to go line dancing, not having a single care in the world. So Samson told police where Ashley's body was, and when they went looking for her, they fully expected her to be dead. After 40 minutes in the pouring rain and complete darkness, police stumbled across Ashley's body, but somehow she was still alive, even after having her neck broken and being strangled repeatedly. On top of that, she was left alone in the woods with her injuries for 30 hours, but she was alive. Authorities didn't think she was going to survive because she suffered severe brain trauma from the attack, but she did. She spent the next year relearning how to swallow, walk, and talk, and although she doesn't remember much from that day, she is alive. Samson was then arrested, where he pleaded guilty to attempted murder. He was sentenced to 20 years in prison, but he was released a couple of months ago after having only served 17. He was given the earliest possible release allowed by the law, which is just crazy to me. He is clearly a danger to society. He will spend the next 3 years on parole and is banned from having any contact with Ashley. I feel like this isn't justice, and I can't even imagine how Ashley feels knowing that he is a free man. He hasn't shown any remorse, and even during the interrogation, he only cared about himself. He literally asked the detective if he would have a private toilet in prison because he can't pee in front of anyone else. Meanwhile, Ashley was laying there, slowly dying. What he did was deranged, and everyone in Illinois should know his face and be careful around him.
I mean, this literally almost made me speechless. I mean, the dude was telling the detective, I swear I did not hurt her. I mean, yeah, you didn't hurt her, right? You just almost killed her and broke her neck and left her to die in a forest. Yeah, I wouldn't call that hurting her, right? Yeah, it's more like murdering her. I mean, yeah, the dude is weird, I mean. And the fact that he went to a bar and started dancing as a celebration thinking that he killed her? Yeah, jail forever. And you deserve it, buddy. Dude, crazy. whatever that Insidious movie was. I'm not watching it. Matter of fact, thank you for letting me know. I'm gonna make sure to stay away from this. I don't mess with horror and scary movies. I'm a very sensitive guy.
Seen the video of it's a baseball game. They're like warming up and then a ball is about to hit the news person. And he turns around and he goes like this, the baseball
Yeah. Oh,
player.
yeah.
Do you remember what the news like anchor looked like?
Was a woman.
What
Blonde?
blonde, right?
Yeah.
Evan, there's been a lot of changes this offseason for your team. How do you feel your chances are in the AL East?
I mean, I love our chances. You know, it's been, Dad, keep it on the field.
That's not fake. That's how it is.
Nah, bro. I called cap on that shit. There's no way. I remember her being blonde.
Me too, bro. I remember her being blind. I also remember her saying, "Wait, did you get that?"
Yeah, I remember that too. These Mandela effects be tripping me out.
I mean, I don't really feel like I'm qualified to commentate about this because, to be honest with y'all, I remember it being two dudes. Or I just may be slow mentally.
These are the most unusual deaths ever. A 26-year-old man from New Hampshire had a very bad case of snoring. So he attempted to cure his snoring by shoving tampons into his nostrils while he slept. So one night before bed, he stuck the tampons in his nostrils. Later that night, his partner tried to wake him up, but something was wrong. He wasn't breathing. It turns out he suffocated in his sleep from the tampons, and the sleeping pills he was also on added to the breathing difficulty. Next, a doctor from Houston, Texas named Hitoshi Nikito was killed after his head was trapped in an elevator door. At the hospital he worked at, he was partially decapitated as the elevator ascended, and he also had injuries to his ribs and spine. There was also reports that he was drunk, but it's not confirmed. Next, 21-year-old Josh Hutcherson was driving home drunk with his 23-year-old friend Francis Bromes. Francis was hanging out the window puking when Josh drove off the road and sideswiped a telephone pole, which Francis hit and completely decapitated him. Josh then drove home and went to bed, and his neighbor found the headless body of Francis in his back seat.
And yeah, this is very disturbing. I mean, in the beginning, I was about to laugh because I truly was expecting these animations to be something funny. But next thing you know, we have 3 headless dudes. I don't know how this happens. Like, imagine looking out of a window and losing your head. I mean, and how does the friend drive home like nothing happened? Like, it took the neighbors to discover a headless body in your back seat? What's wrong with you? Like, you shouldn't even be driving. You're a menace to society, buddy. Lock him up!
If you witnessed a murder, would you call for help? If you said yes, then think again. This is the horrific case of the murder of Kitty Genovese. It changed how we understand human behaviour forever. It was the 13th of March 1964. Kitty Genovese was a 28-year-old woman from Brooklyn. She worked as a bar manager in Queens and lived with her girlfriend Mary. She would frequently arrive home very late in the evening due to her role. On the night in question, things were no different, and she left work at around 2:30 a.m. Shortly after she left, a man spotted her in her car. This was 29-year-old Winston Mosley. Unfortunately for Kitty, she would become the target for this man who admitted to driving around looking for a victim. Now, Kitty parked her car only 100 feet away from her front door. Chillingly though, Winston was hot on her tail. He came up behind her and launched a hunting knife into her back. Kitty screamed out in pain. She shouted, "Oh my God, he stabbed me, help me, help me." It's reported that several neighbours heard her cry, but only a few of them thought that it was a cry for help. A neighbour named Robert at this point heard the screams and rushed to his window. He would later tell police that he shouted for the man to leave her alone. He then saw the perpetrator run away. Little did Robert know that Winston simply went round the corner and waited 10 minutes to return to his victim. He went back to Kitty, who at this point was bleeding, unable to get through a locked door to get help. He once again stabbed her, he then AR'd her and robbed her. He left her there to die. Now, after this, it's reported that a man called Carl Ross had witnessed this and called his friends and asked them what he should do. They told him to obviously ring police, which he then did. Tragically, Kitty died on the way to hospital. Now, Winston was tracked down less than a week later and made a full confession to the hideous crime. The New York Times later published an article about the murder titled 37 Who Saw Murder Didn't Call Police. The article discussed how, for around half an hour, 37 or 38 people witnessed the attack and didn't call police. Tragically, by the time they did, she was already dead. The newspaper report quoted one witness who apparently said, "I didn't want to get involved." There was also then a book published called 38 Witnesses, the Kitty Genovese Case. The theory of something called the bystander effect was birthed. This refers to how people in a crowd may be less willing to help somebody than if they were the sole witness to something. Essentially, the thought behind it is that if many people witness an incident or something horrific like a stabbing, for example, you may feel less personally responsible to help. You may also just incorrectly assume that somebody else has already got help on the way or somebody else is going to take charge. Whereas if you were the only person to witness it, you may feel pressure to help. Some people believe that the New York Times exaggerated the number of witnesses to the crime. It's also reported that someone did in fact call the police. Kitty's neighbour ran down the stairs and comforted Kitty as she lay there waiting for an ambulance to arrive. Now, regardless of the actual facts of the case, the bystander effect is widely known and used in psychology. Kitty's girlfriend actually passed away this year.
I mean, dude literally randomly woke up one morning and decided to be like, let me drive around my neighborhood today looking for my next murder victim. I mean, yeah, the dude is obviously deranged and weird. Like, there's a lot of other types of hobbies that you could pick, maybe play football, try to play basketball, do something productive instead of roaming around your neighborhood, stabbing ladies to death. And the fact that there was 38 witnesses just watching her get decapitated, I mean, that's weird and straight disrespectful, so I'm obviously not gonna make fun of that, but yeah. What's wrong with y'all? Call the cops.
Is the worst candy ever made.
Nah, hold on. Let me really think about this shit, bro.
I'm gonna talk my shit. I have 4. So almond joy's part of that. I hate almond joys with a passion.
There's people that fuck with that though.
Nah, I don't care, bro.
There's like
I'm
a
sorry.
big ass like audience.
Sorry, bro.
When it comes to like the minty chocolate, people love that shit. I don't like it. It's disgusting to me. But yo, there's a lot of people who like that.
Yo,
shit.
why'd you get canceled over some chocolate, bro? I'm gonna get tight. But milk duds are disgusting. Butterfingers are disgusting.
Ew. I know what's the top of the top, most disgusting, worst fucking candies of all time. If I see that, I will throw up.
What?
Red chilies, some shit like that.
Oh, no, I know what you're talking
What
about.
is that? Even the gum is disgusting.
Yeah, I don't know what that is.
The red gum?
The red gum is just like cinnamon flavored.
Who eats that candy, bro? You know what I'm talking about?
I'm gonna have you rank these from best to worst.
Oh my! I think this is gonna be harder than the candies, bro.
Snickers, M&Ms, specifically the ones
yellow bag.
Yeah, yellow bag with peanuts.
Oh my god!
Kit Kats.
These two dudes cry about candy. Let me tell y'all about how I personally feel about candy. When it comes to me, I stay away from candy. I don't like candy because I hate the dentist. You know what I mean? Candies are my enemy. Let's put it this way.
This man was caught on camera murdering his wife, and he only got 10 years in prison. Carrie Birmingham, who was 60 years old, shot his wife Patricia Birmingham, who was 48 years old. He shot her 3 times outside their home in Spring, Texas, and the couple had been arguing for about 30 minutes after Carrie allegedly discovered the affair his wife was having. This incident was captured on video by his wife Patricia, and in the disturbing video, Carrie can be seen walking in the driveway with a bathrobe on and a shotgun in his hand. Carrie can also be heard telling his wife, quote, "Okay, bye. You're going to meet Jesus. I hope it was worth it," end quote, before shooting her 3 times and killing her. Whatever you do, don't look up the video. It honestly is pretty disturbing, and I wouldn't recommend watching it. After doing this, Carrie was arrested and charged with murder, being held on a $200,000 bond, and recently in 2024, Carrie Birmingham pleaded guilty to the murder, but claimed he shot his wife in the heat of the moment. And despite the jury being all females, the woman sentenced Carrie to 10 years in prison, with parole eligibility in 5 years. Now I'm going to play a short clip from the video showing Carrie talking to Patricia before he shot her dead.
Video? I'll pull it. A man that can pull it. Okay. All right, goodbye, Reese. Nice to know you. You gonna make this?
First thing first, the fact that this dude right here was able to get a wife and marry her is a miracle itself. I mean, my man's looks like Butterbean. If y'all don't know who Butterbean is, hopefully I'm pronouncing his name correctly. He's an old boxer. Look him up. You'll know what I'm talking about. And second of all, the fact that he's looking at her talking about you're gonna meet Jesus, knowing that he's about to kill her, is very creepy and deranged. Hopefully my man's is in jail forever, because obviously it's well deserved. He killed his wife. Like, what's with these murders about killing your family members in these videos? Like, is it a hobby or something? Because I keep seeing it every day. Like, is this something that I don't know about? Stop shooting people, boy.
This woman claimed that her 18-month-old daughter would become the next Jeffrey Dahmer and killed her because of it. I don't think that I've ever been more angry reading a true crime case. This is Cheyenne Hill. Police were called to Riley Children's Hospital in Indiana on November 23, 2022, after Cheyenne's daughter, 18-month-old Eliana, was admitted with horrific injuries. Eliana was severely malnourished and had a brain bleed, a broken collarbone, bruises on her face, and a swollen and deformed head. After seeing just how bad her injuries were, someone in Child Services notified authorities about Eliana's condition, which sparked an investigation into Cheyenne. While she was still hospitalized, Cheyenne told police that Eliana would become the next Jeffrey Dahmer, a serial killer who killed at least 17 men and boys starting in 1978. She went on to say that she believed her daughter was not a nice kid and that something wasn't right with her. When police asked her why she compared her 18-month-old to Jeffrey Dahmer, she laughed, and as Eliana lay there dying, Cheyenne called her an asshole. Sadly, just a few days later, little Eliana would die because of her injuries. Her death was ruled a homicide as a result of blunt force trauma to the head. Early on in the investigation, it came to light that a couple of witnesses noticed bruises and swelling on Eliana's face in the days leading up to her ultimate death. And on one occasion, a witness even told Cheyenne that she needed to be taken to the doctor. But Cheyenne snapped back at them and said, quote, "No. Under no circumstances are you to call an ambulance or take her to the hospital. I will make the decisions. That is my child." End quote. Cheyenne would eventually take her into the hospital, but not for another 8 days. Authorities also found that Cheyenne reportedly told a neighbor that Eliana was going to kill someone one day, and she also blamed Eliana as being the reason why her boyfriend wouldn't marry her. Even with all of this evidence, it would take nearly a year for Cheyenne to be arrested in connection to her daughter's death. During the trial, prosecutors couldn't prove that Cheyenne was the one who inflicted the injuries, but they were able to prove that Cheyenne neglected Eliana after the abuse. Cheyenne reportedly left Eliana in critical condition after the abuse and went to work, which is what ultimately led to her death. On Tuesday, Cheyenne was convicted of child neglect causing death and was sentenced to 30 years in prison. She showed no emotion or remorse in court. It's stories like this that anger me so much and make me realize that not everyone should be allowed to have kids.
I mean, the girl was like a year old. You know, she can't even walk yet. And you're comparing her to Jeffrey Dahmer. Literally a assassin. What's wrong with you? I mean, yeah, some people just shouldn't have kids. I mean, poor girl. I mean, that lady's literally, she has to be schizophrenic or something. I mean, I can't really sit here and diagnose her, but one thing I know for a fact is that she's crazy. She crazy. She has to be. Like she's looking at her daughter talking about, "Oh my God, you're the next Jeffrey Dahmer. I need to kill you before you grow." What is you talking about, lady? Just casually kills her daughter and goes to work. Just another day, huh? Jail!
This pop star murdered by a fan as she came off stage. Christina Grimmie from New Jersey was talented from a young age. At the age of 15, she decided to set up a YouTube channel in order to share her love of singing online. She started posting covers of pop songs and people loved it. She gained a huge 1 million subscribers and moved to LA to pursue her dreams. Other artists could see how talented she was. She made connections with some of them, including Selena Gomez. She actually eventually ended up supporting Selena on tour. In 2014, she ended up finishing 3rd place on the talent show The Voice. This grew her audience even more. However, on June the 10th, 2016, things would come to a tragic end. Christina was singing at Plaza Live in Orlando. Once the performance was over, she was eager to meet her adoring fans backstage. She planned to get some photos and sign some autographs with them. She had no idea this would be fatal. At 10:24 p.m, Kevin Loibel was waiting to meet the pop star. He'd been stood in line patiently. However, when she reached her arms out to greet him, he grabbed his weapon and shot her. 3 shots entered her head and chest. Now, Christina's brother, who was actually her manager, was there and witnessed the entire sickening incident. Acting on instinct, he rugby tackled Kevin to the ground. Tragically, though, it was too late. As Christina lay bleeding on the floor, Kevin unalived himself with his weapon. A member of staff at the venue described the situation as horrifying. Christina was rushed to hospital but tragically passed away. Now, police obviously couldn't ask Kevin why he did what he did because he was dead. They had to interview those closest to him to try and get a glimpse into the mind of the killer. What they found was that he left this chilling note on his door before leaving to go to the concert. It says, "Deepest sorrow for lost to the family, friends and fans of the very talented, loving Christina Grimmie." No other comments. It turned out that the 27-year-old from Florida had purchased weapons just the day prior. Now, frustratingly, it appeared that he'd gone into the venue with those weapons. His bag was seemingly not checked. Friends claim that the man was obsessed with the singer to an alarming extent. He would spend all of his time looking at her social media and pictures of her and videos online. When anyone would question him about it, he got really defensive. Christina's death understandably shocked so many people, and everyone was devastated. Fellow musicians rushed to social media to express their sorrow. Selena Gomez said, "My heart is absolutely broken." Her family created the Christina Grimmie Foundation in 2017 to raise money for victims of gun crime.
I mean, how can he be a hater and a fan at the same time? And the fact that he left a nice little note before killing her is even creepier. Like, the dude is literally a fan, stalking her Instagram, looking at her pictures. Like, he even said that she was talented in the note. Like, what's the point of killing her? Yeah, that's a fan that I don't want to have, if you know what I mean. Dude is weird.
Travis Walton, he was on the Joe Rogan podcast. There was a documentary made on him. He's one of the most known and like one of the earliest alien abduction stories that went crazy viral because of how vivid and what he remembers experiencing. He tells the story the same every single time. This happened in 1975. Travis Walton and a crew of 7 people, they were out chopping trees. The sun was going down. They decided we're gonna call it a day. Let's just get out of here. They all ended up going in the same car and they see a bright light in the forest. And they're kind of confused but also scared because they think, damn, what if this shit's a forest fire? As they're getting closer to the light, they realize that it's not a fire. It's a UFO with golden light coming from underneath.
Like the pictures that we always see online and stuff?
Exactly like that. Travis Walton decides, goes closer to see what the fuck it is. By himself, bro. Out of nowhere, this like blue beam of light sent him flying, bro, like 10 feet. From there, he passed out. The guys that were in the truck, they dipped.
They left him?
They saw that shit and they left.
Oh, man. What the?
They saw that the UFO wasn't following them. They went back for him. The UFO wasn't there no more. And there was no signs of Travis either. On the 5th day of him being missing, he ends up gaining consciousness and he appears in a random ass fucking highway. He remembers him waking up in the ship. He said that he didn't panic at first because he saw a square rectangular light.
He thought it was maybe the doctors or something?
He thought it was the hospital. He gained a little bit more consciousness. He looked up and there was like some sort of device on him. And then he saw 3 figures. They all had an orange jumpsuit. One of the figures was like staring him dead in his eyes.
First thing first, when it comes to me personally, if I ever come across a weird light in a forest, I'm running in the opposite direction, you know? One thing I'm not gonna do is what Travis just did. See, what y'all need to understand is that y'all need to learn from people like Travis. See? He found out the hard way. If I see something that I don't know about in a forest, I'm dipping. I'm not staying there to find out. Travis, hopefully you're still alive. Nah, he probably passed away. It's an old story. But anyways, do better next time, Travis. Stay away from them aliens. You know what I mean?
Streamer killed his girlfriend while live streaming, and it's one of the most disturbing things ever streamed. Stanislav Reshnikov, who was on the left as a vlogger/streamer, was famously known as Stas Reflay, and he inflicted inhumane physical abuse on his pregnant girlfriend, Valentina Grigorieva, who was on the right when a viewer asked him to do so for merely $1,000 in his YouTube live video. Valentina's beating was followed by Stas stripping her naked and forcefully locking her outside of the house in sub-zero temperatures of December. Valentina kept on knocking on the door, telling him that she was going to die. After 15 minutes, Stas checked on Valentina as she stopped knocking on the door. He then found Valentina's unconscious, not breathing, and pale body. Stas made a failed attempt at resurrecting his girlfriend by giving her CPR. Eventually, he grew very scared of what he had done and called the paramedic team. In the footage, he can be seen carrying her back into his apartment trying to revive her. He is heard saying, "Velia, are you alive? My bunny, what's up with you? Velia, Velia, damn, you look like you are dead. Bunny, come on, tell me something. I'm worrying. Damn, I'm not feeling a heartbeat, guys. No pulse. She's pale. She is not breathing. Wake up, Velia. I love you. Wake up." The paramedic team then arrived and announced Valentina dead upon examination. Initially, she was assumed to die from hypothermia. However, the forensic team revealed that Valentina had died from a head injury inflicted upon her during domestic violence. The police arrested Stas soon after he killed his pregnant girlfriend for money, and he was given a sentence of 6 years by the court in 2021. But what do you think about this? This man literally put his pregnant girlfriend outside in freezing cold temperatures for $1,000 because one of his viewers donated it and told him to. This is absolutely gut-turning, and the live stream, if you ever decide to watch it, is extremely unnerving, especially when her lifeless body gets brought into the live stream. Just hearing him talk to her and knowing that she's dead is extremely unsettling.
He's like, "I love you, bunny. Please wake up. You seem dead." You think? You literally just killed her over a donation from a live stream. The dude who probably sent it is probably a nerd. Like, imagine killing your significant partner, the woman who loves you, over a donation. He's like, "Oh, bunny, please wake up. I love you." Too late, buddy. You killed her. Like, what do you expect? Jail.
Case will put you off ever going to school again. This child was kidnapped by a school security guard. She wasn't rescued for 10 agonizing years. Tanya Katch lived in Pennsylvania with her dad and his girlfriend. Her parents split up early in her life and she didn't have much contact with her biological mum. She also didn't really get on with her dad's partner either. She was feeling unwanted and confused and turned to drink and substances to cope. She struggled to connect with friends at school and would often bunk off, leaving her quite vulnerable. In 1995, she came across a man called Tom Hose. At the time, he was 38 and he was a school security guard. He had a son of his own, just 2 years younger than Tanya. Now, initially, she was scared that he was going to get her in trouble. Obviously, she shouldn't have been bunking off. Instead, though, he made friends with her. He started grooming the 14-year-old with gifts and money. As she was a child, this was very appealing. He would buy her jewelry and sweets, and she thought he had good intentions. Thinking he really cared about her, they ended up kissing. Then in February 1996, things took a really dark turn. Tom told the young girl that they could run away together. She obviously felt that she didn't really fit in anywhere, so she obliged. On the 10th of the month, Tom took the child and hid her in his home. Now, he actually lived with his parents and son, so he had to hide her from those people. After being sold a dream, Tanya soon realized that this was more like a nightmare. She had to be kept hidden in Tom's bedroom. She was unable to make any noise or leave the property. He fed her leftovers like an animal, and she had to go to the toilet in a bucket. Tom also regularly SA'd the child. However, she was too scared to try and leave. He would emotionally abuse her and convince her that she was worthless and nobody would even care where she was. He even threatened her that if she did leave, he would kill her and her family. Now, Tanya was reported missing, but police had limited involvement. They already knew that she had a history of running away. Tanya was initially held captive for 4 agonizing years, just 2 miles from her home. When she turned 18, Tom got a little bit more confident to introduce Tanya to people, but called her Nikki. He was confident that she was brainwashed enough to never leave. He would let her out of the house by this point, but always gave her a strict curfew to abide by. Years went by where she was pretty much trapped in this house, apart from the odd occasion he let her out. The young girl was still terrified to make her true identity known. Then in March 2006, the then 24-year-old woman was brave enough to tell a member of the public that she was actually the missing girl. She told a kind couple who owned a local deli about what was happening. She said if they looked online, they would find her on the missing child's website. The members of the public obviously took this information to the police. Tom was arrested and Tanya was overjoyed that she was finally free. After holding the girl for 10 years of captivity, Tom pleaded guilty to SA, amongst many other offences, in 2007. Shockingly, he was given just 15 years in prison and was released in 2022. Now, shockingly, Tanya's dad actually blamed her for her own kidnap. Therefore, the two do not have a relationship anymore. Tanya, however, is happily married and now advocates for other victims of abuse and trauma.
Imagine being a little girl going to school only to get snatched up by the school security guard. Weird. I mean, you should have stayed home, girl. It was kind of your fault. But I get it, though. You were a little child, We all do dumb things in life. But, I mean, I'm happy about the fact that, she wasn't murdered, at least. Because, to be honest, I was expecting this from the first second. Like, I literally was expecting her to, end up chopped up somewhere. I mean, that's how it goes usually. But I'm lucky for her, she's still alive. And yeah.
Imagine waking up and realizing that your face has been replaced by a smiling plastic doll, but no one else notices except you. You tell your friends, I can't move my face anymore, I think something's wrong. Doesn't my smile look fake to you? They all stare at you in confusion, saying you look exactly the same, no different than how you've always looked. You feel like you're living in a nightmare. Why isn't anyone noticing that your face has completely hardened to plastic and you can't stop smiling? Even in the streets, people aren't scared. Instead, a producer approaches you and offers you a record deal, saying you have the face that everyone wants. He's proven right when you become an overnight sensation. Millions of fans idolize your fake doll-like smile, and you even start a trend of people stretching their mouths so they can look like you. Still, no one notices that this isn't your real face, and soon more and more people in society start transforming into dolls. Now, as a famous pop star, you realize this has gone too far, and what you really want is to have your own face back. But the only way to do that is to destroy everything. This short film is called The Dolls with Attitude, and I thought it was a brilliant representation of forcing yourself to appear in a way that just isn't authentic, and being trapped in this cycle that you can't escape from.
She said no one can tell that the face isn't yours. Literally the fakest plastic looking mask I've ever seen in my life. Like, if the people around you are being fooled by whatever you got going on, I mean, I guess they kind of deserve it. Because I'm gonna keep it civilized and I'm gonna be gentleman about it. I'm just gonna call them low IQ. I'm not gonna use any other word. I'm not watching that show. Producers saw her on the street talking about, you have the prettiest face ever. Yeah. For a Halloween contest. Get out of my face, man.
Hello. She wants to come in, Desson.
Appalachian natives claim that these trees are ruled by devil monkeys. Urban legends of Appalachia warns folks not to look up when walking through the woods, or else you might attract the unwanted attention of the alleged devil monkeys hiding in the trees. They are said to be extremely aggressive, stand between 6 and 8 feet tall, and have primate-like features, but with the snout of a fearsome dog. They are also said to switch between walking on all fours and leaping on 2 feet. In 1994, one woman said that she was driving down a dark road surrounded by forest in Roanoke, Virginia, when she was confronted by a terrifying 6-foot-tall creature that leaped in front of her car. She described it as a cross between an ape and a dog. It had sleek dark fur and cat-like legs. She reported the sighting to U.S. Game and Wildlife officials, but they dismissed it as being merely a wolf or a feral dog. Was it a devil monkey?
I mean, 6 to 8 foot devil monkey, silverback gorilla, werewolf mix of what I don't even know what to call them, to be honest. He says devil monkey, but it looks like a mix between a silverback gorilla and a werewolf, and they're 6 to 8 feet tall. I mean, I'm 6'3" myself, so I think I could take one down. Nah, to be honest, if these things actually exist, they probably eat my face. 8 foot silverback monkey, werewolf, gorilla, raccoon, what? Burn it. We don't need to get scientific about it. Just flamethrower. Burn it. Gorilla world, man. I'm about to throw up.
Hidden secrets in everyday things. Firstly, have you ever wondered why there are 3 different colors on some toothpaste? Well, apparently the white part whitens your teeth, the blue part gives you fresh breath, and the red part helps maintain healthy gums. Next, I think everyone would agree that they would like more privacy when using a public toilet. But did you know that these toilet stall gaps actually have a purpose? In fact, the purpose is to make you feel as uncomfortable as possible so you can use the toilet fast and leave. Now, have you ever wondered why there is a hole in pen caps? Well, it's in case someone swallows the pen cap. The hole leaves just enough space for the person to still breathe. This particular idea has saved thousands of lives. Finally, never put one of these memory cards in your mouth, because it is said they have one of the worst tastes known to man. And this is because they are small and kids might eat them, so companies decided to make them taste horrible. Sophomore?
Like, imagine being someone who's so slow mentally that they literally need a disclaimer. Like this guy, like you really need somebody to tell you to not swallow a SD card and eat iPhones? Please do not swallow the SD cards and eat the cell phones. They might taste disgusting. Or really, you think? I mean, if you're out here swallowing SD cards on a daily basis, maybe check in to head to the asylum. Stay there. You need it.
We all been lied to about the truth behind the times of 3 a.m. to 5 a.m. And I'm about to tell you exactly what the fuck be going on at that time. Let's get into it. Basically, during this time, the veil between our realm and the other higher realms of existence is thinnest at this point, right? Everybody's been told that. But did you know that at this point in your time, if you get woken up, it's called the ambrosial hour. And it's actually a huge energetic boost for all of us that naturally we wake up during the night. Sometimes when our soul, aka our higher self, wants us to use this energy to be in the creator mode of this reality. So if you ever played Minecraft, you know what the fuck I'm talking about. It's actually a great time for you to be in the purgatory. You're not dead, you're not alive, but you're on the other side. Because did you not know, friend, that everything that we're doing is a dream right now? Yes! Even when we go to sleep, we think we're sleeping. We're not sleeping. We're actually just back in our original state of nothingness. And we're without a body, so we're without having a human experience, and we are just experiencing life without this vessel. And that's what happens when we're asleep. But when we wake up during those times, we are still in that state because your brain is the map and the gateway to consciousness.
No, I'm not saying that I don't believe in spirituality or that the spirit realm doesn't exist. I do believe in that, but first thing first, I think this lady needs some sleep because she talks weird, she acts weird, I don't know what she's talking about. I do, but I'm like, oh, the cussing and I think she's weird. She needs some sleep to refresh her, you know? Mental membranes and the 4 brain cells that she has remaining. No disrespect, but I think this is called insomnia and sleep apnea, you know? I struggle with these things myself sometimes, you know? It's not Buddha waking you up so you can start creating TikTok at 3 a.m. in the morning. What am I'm getting sleepy. All this sleep talk is making me sleepy, making me stumble on my words. Let's skip this clip.
Why is she doing that, Todd?
Raises, bro.
We're all doing it.
Yeah, bro. Lasers can't burn through the colour blue.
They better hurry up and get that on there.
I painted ours, bro.
What the FBI just found in Las Vegas is pretty concerning. Authorities have uncovered a possible illegal biological lab in someone's home. And this doesn't appear to be some weekend hobby. Not only did they find over 1,000 samples of unknown substances which had to be sent away for testing, but the owner of the home, a Chinese national, was arrested in 2023 for running another biological lab all the way over in California. And that lab, which allegedly received funding from Chinese banks, had samples with very concerning labels on them, including HIV, malaria, TB, COVID-19, and even Ebola. Now, the samples found at this Las Vegas lab on Saturday were, quote, consistent in appearance with the items found and described in the California lab investigation. So this now raises a serious concern. What are these samples being used for? And if 2 labs have now been discovered, could there be even more?
Here is why you can't just burn the Annabelle doll. You think you can just burn her and then it's all over? Wrong. There's a lot more to this than what you guys think. Annabelle isn't just haunted. Annabelle is a vessel for something much darker, a demon. The Warrens have tried to destroy her. Others have tried to destroy her. But each time Annabelle was trying to be destroyed by others, it only made everything way worse. Fire doesn't cleanse evil like this. It only releases it. And once it's out, it doesn't just go away. This is why the Warrens have kept her in this case, locked, blessed, sealed, and away from the public, so she couldn't cause any harm. Or should I say not she, but the demon. Because once you try to burn Annabelle, she doesn't burn. You do. So let me know in the comments after hearing this. Would you try to destroy Annabelle if you were given the opportunity, or are you staying far away from this doll? Make sure to
100% I will jump on the opportunity to destroy and burn Annabelle and Chucky and Pennywise myself. For my viewers from the jump, y'all know how I feel about them dolls. And I'm happy she was talking about burning it, because I always advise y'all to burn them. So I think this is a beautiful thing. The reason these people are struggling burning Chucky and Annabelle is because these people are incompetent. They need someone like me, the neon one himself, to burn it. I'll take care of Annabelle. All I need is 5 minutes and a flamethrower. You know what I mean? I'm being serious.
2026 just got even crazier, part 11. So IKEA just released a half-a-meter hot dog in the UAE. It's priced at around $5 for this glizzy, and if you don't know how long a half-a-meter is, well, it's just a little under 2 feet, 20 inches. You know, this definitely was not on my 2026 bingo card. Next, a 24-year-old man in France went to the hospital complaining about serious pain. Well, he claimed that he inserted something massive into his body. Well, surgeons later found out that it was actually a World War I bomb that was 8 inches long. And following this, the bomb squad was called, and it was confirmed that the bomb was not live, thankfully. But once they got the bomb out of his body, the man definitely had to be in some pain, but now he might even face charges for having that type of ammunition. Finally, if you don't know, Markiplier released his movie Iron Lung. Production budget was around $3 million, and expectations weren't that high. Well, opening day, it was #1 in the box office here in the USA, and it grossed over $21 million now, and it only came out January 30th. This is awesome.
First thing first, any man that calls a hot dog a glizzy should not be taken serious ever in life. And for them, I mean, and I'm not the type to judge other people's sexualities. I have no problem with it. They're free to do whatever. It's not my thing, but my mans, you're a grown man shoving stuff up your you know what? You're behind. You're free to do so. It's 2026. Feel free to do so. But that's not the part that I'm judging. What I'm talking about is the bomb. You're literally inserting a bomb out of all of the things you could have found inside of your own bum. I mean, what did you expect? What if it ignites in your guts? I mean, I don't think you thought about that, huh? I mean, I shouldn't expect anyone shoving bombs up their behinds to be smart, you know? You kind of deserve it. And they charge you for being in possession of it. This dude, you deserve all of it. And to my viewers, please do not shove bombs up your, you know what? Not nice. Damn.
This statue has been caught moving a number of times. It's located in Iowa, and rumor has it that it comes alive at night. According to a local legend, a number of people have seen this statue move and fly in the air at night. It's also said to shoot beams from its eyes, but I don't know too much about that one. But then it said that if it hits you with its eye beams, that you then disappear forever. Also, the statue appears black, but it never originally was. Apparently, it absorbed all the evil from the people buried around it, and that's why it darkened in color. What do you guys think about this local legend and story? Is it just a legend, or does she actually come alive at night? I don't know.
Scary stories about Disneyland, except this one there's actual proof. One time a guy went to Disneyland and was waiting to ride the roller coaster on Space Mountain. He was standing in line when a guy with red hair came up to him and started talking to him. He seemed nice, but he was a little bit odd. But the thing is, when the ride was over, this red-haired man literally vanished into thin air. The guest reported this incident and was told that he was alone the entire time. This guest might have just encountered a ghost people know as Mr. One Way. Rumor has it that he's the ghost of a man who passed away while on the ride in the 1970s. He always vanishes right before the ride is over, and he likes to talk to people who are riding the roller coaster alone. People have also reported seeing him in the cast member locker rooms. Follow if you want a part 2 because there's so many ghost stories about Disneyland.
This is an actual nightmare. So it starts when this woman walks into the bedroom of her apartment and she feels liquid dripping on her head. She looks up and sees that her smoke detector is leaking. It's in her hair, it's all over her clothes, and at first she just thinks the batteries inside the smoke detector may have exploded and now are leaking out battery acid, but it started to smell awful. After putting a pot underneath the smoke detector, it began filling the pot with this liquid in a span of 15 minutes. Because of the awful smell, she thought it may be leaking sewer water from the apartment upstairs. So she goes upstairs and knocks on their door and asks if everything is all right. And the man that answers the door tells her that everyone in the apartment is fine. So she goes to the apartment managers and tells them that she thinks sewer water is coming from her ceiling. After this, she starts walking back to her unit. But when she gets to the bottom of the stairs, she notices the man who answered the apartment door standing there on the phone with someone, and she hears him say Steve is dead, and he clarifies that he's been gone for quite some time. Steve is her elderly neighbor that lives in the unit right above her. And that's when it dawns on her. The liquid coming out of the ceiling is the bodily fluid of her neighbor Steve leaking through the floor.
In the early 2000s, all these rumors were surfacing about a Disney resort in North Carolina that never opened up to the public. This resort was called Mowgli's Palace. It was a massive jungle-themed resort that Disney quietly built and then quickly abandoned. There was no announcement, no press coverage, it was all just suddenly gone. Locals say they completely erased all traces of the project. There were no blueprints, permits, or even internal mentions. A few years later, an urban explorer broke in and started documenting what he found. Torn character suits, dark hallways, sealed doors. But the creepiest part was this giant character mascot head of Mickey Mouse with no face. Just smooth, featureless skin where eyes and a smile should have been. That's when he discovered something absolutely, truly terrifying. In the final room, he expected storage, but instead he found something on the wall, and written in thick, red letters that looked too fresh to be old paint, it said, "Abandoned by Disney." And then it spoke. The suit lifted itself up and whispered, "You must have not heard what they did to the others." And some people say that the explorer made it out. Other people say that he vanished. But in his final notes, he described what he saw written in the last hallway, carved into concrete beneath the park. Abandoned by God. This is an internet legend, creepypasta known as Abandoned by Disney.
Isn't it funny how the place where it's supposed to be all magical, fucking lovey-dovey with the children and the families and people having fun, roller coasters and cotton candy, also happens to be the creepiest place on earth. Every time it's always there's always something up with Mickey Mouse and Goofy and what's wrong with you? They should change the name from Disney to Pennywise's Ranch.
This picture is one of the scariest and most terrifying pictures that you will ever see. I mean, sure, when you first look at it, it just looks like a happy family. But let me tell you, what if I move a little? Bro, what the actual hell is this? It all started around 1950 when a family called Cooper just moved into a new home in Texas. You know, they moved into a new house, it's a new life, you don't do this every day, it's not a regular thing, so the family decided to celebrate it. But while they were celebrating, one of the family members got the idea to take a picture, okay? So in this picture, you see the grandmother, the mother, and the children. It's important to keep in mind that this happened a long time ago. We're talking about 1950. Whoever took the pic, well, he did not take it with an iPhone 17 Pro Max. He took it with something like this. These types of cameras used to be very famous around that time, okay? It was either this one or, you know, the big one with the tripod where you had to do a whole lot of exercise just to get one pic. Anyways, when the family finally took the picture, well, they kept celebrating. If you're like, bro, oh my God, are they not seeing this thing in the picture? Well, no. Because if you remember well, they took the pic with an old camera. And the thing with these cameras is that they take a lot of time to process and then extract the image. It's not like these days with your phone, you just take a pic and then you can check it immediately. No, with these types of cameras, you had to wait until the picture comes out. And when it comes out, you had to wait for it to go from black into a clear image. That's the exact reason why the family didn't react immediately and they kept celebrating. They took the pic, they put the camera elsewhere, and waited for it to process this thing. Now, after a while, the pic was finally ready to be seen, so all the family gathered together. They were like, bro, let's come check this pic, alright? Everyone who saw this pic was in absolute shock. Who the hell is this? Why is he upside down? Why is his face like this? And most importantly, why didn't they see him if he's next to them? The picture became really known and many people started talking about it when the internet started to become a thing in the 80s. The family kept promising that they did not fake this image, okay? It appeared just like that and it shocked them too. They also mentioned that after this picture was taken and each time they went to this room, they felt a heavy presence, like he was here but they could not see him. So was this a
I know I normally don't pause videos, but oh my God, this dude talks a lot. Like, you talk too much, get to the point. This family took a picture with a microwave in the 1600s. Shut up. The picture is literally AI, I can tell from here without even inspecting it. There's a dude, like, you mean to tell me they didn't see this dude hanging? I mean, he has pajamas on. Like, this is the fakest thing I've ever seen in my life. I know you're trying to, reach the 1 minute mark on your TikTok so you get paid, but do better. Look at his name, Mr. Nice Girls. Mister, you talk too much. Get out of my face. Pissing me off.
Something that happened that messed up the process of the image and we ended up having something like this. Was it fate, the family did it on purpose? Or, was it a spirit that, he was enjoying the party too, he was going up and down? Nobody will certainly know. All I know is that you and I, yes, I am involved, got jump scared when we saw the pic for the first time.
The haunted Snow White statue that moves by itself.
Que esta figura pareciera cerrar sus ojos, como si cobrara vida frente a la cámara.
There was a place called El Reino Mágico that was located in Veracruz, Mexico, but it was sadly shut down. They said it's because creepy weird things would happen. And everyone's main concern was the creepy Snow White statue. It is said that the amusement park was built over a cemetery, and this led to many content creators visiting the place, and they all experienced paranormal activity relating to the Snow White statue. Besides the blinking video, there was also one of her supposedly walking, and it was recorded by this man right here going by the name El Cucuy TV.
Güey. ¿Velador? Ese no es el velador, güey.
Güey, no es un velador.
No. No, aguanta, deja que mi cámara enfoque bien, Deja que mi cámara enfoque bien, güey, eso no es el velador. No digas perras mamadas, güey. No digas perras mamadas.
Juliana and Brandon started getting very comfortable with each other, and it turns out that they were secretly sleeping together while Christine was at work. This affair didn't even go on for too long. Just 2 months in, Brandon and Juliana were already coming up with a plan to get rid of Christine. They lured a man into the house and staged everything to make it look like he was responsible for Christine's death, but it was actually them. The plan they came up with together was so stupid, which if you want to know the full details, just go watch it on my YouTube video, but these two really thought they were going to get away with this. And what makes this case even more disturbing is that not only was Christine killed, but so was a stranger who had absolutely nothing to do with any of this. Now, what had my jaw on the ground was that these two didn't even wait to start living their lives together. Almost immediately after Christine's death, Juliana moved all her clothes into the master bedroom, slept in the same bed Christine was murdered in, put a photo of her and Brandon on the nightstand, and even told the 3-year-old to start calling her mommy.
I mean, this is crazy. What happened to divorce? All you had to do was divorce her and move in with the new one. She would have been sad, but at least she would have still been alive, you know? There's no point in murdering her. But I mean, I don't expect y'all to make smart decisions. Y'all are criminals and cheaters. Hope y'all in jail forever.
Here's some interesting things I just learned today. Caesar salad was actually invented in a Tijuana restaurant during a 4th of July rush in 1924. A chef named Caesar Cardini improvised and created it. To be a commercial airline pilot or an air traffic controller, speaking English is a mandatory requirement. Apparently, long-term exposure to bodily waste, like taking care of a baby, significantly reduces the parents' disgust responses, and they just get used to it. I feel like that's actually really fair as someone with 2 under 2. Neuroscientists are actually finding out now how meditation changes how fluid moves through your brain, and it becomes similar to the way that your brain works while you're sleeping. The Lakers and Celtics have won 45% of all NBA championships in the entire league. That's a little extra, but hey, I'm not complaining as a Lakers fan.
2026 just got even crazier, part 15. North Korea just had an election, and it was pretty close, because Kim Jong-un won 100% of the votes in North Korea and remains the leader. Remember, in North Korea, it's mandatory to vote, and when you do vote, you're only given one name to choose from, and that's Kim Jong-un. So yeah, technically, you could say it was the closest race possible, even though he won 100% of the votes. Next, we just figured out we are getting a Backrooms movie that is releasing on May 24th, and it's produced by A24, and they just released a trailer, and here it is right here. If you don't know what the Backrooms are, well, it's a transitional area that feels strangely familiar, yet oddly uncomfortable, and the Backrooms all started from the internet, and now it's getting its own movie. Pretty wild. Finally, Pixar just released a trailer for Toy Story 5, and in the trailer, we could see that Woody is balding. Yeah, that's how old we're getting. Woody is literally going bald. I bet you for the next Toy Story that we get, it's going to be about Woody going to Turkey for a hair transplant.
Shouts out to my Korean people out there, but y'all a little slow mentally if you want me to be honest with you. Imagine celebrating the win of basically Kim Jong-un becoming the president of Korea. But he's literally the only one who's allowed to run for president. Like, he's the only choice. What are you celebrating? These guys.
Facts about history that school probably didn't teach you. Part 20. Before she married Ronald, Nancy Reagan was known around Hollywood for her oral abilities, therefore making her a certified throat goat. Queen Victoria really loved doing the deed with her husband, Prince Albert. Like, really loved doing it. To the point where it was audible through doors and walls several times daily. After the founding fathers signed the Declaration of Independence, they went frat boy mode and racked up a pretty impressive bar tab. A bottle of whiskey, 2 bottles of wine, and 7 to 10 beers per founding father. George Washington in particular was known as the 3-bottle man, meaning he could drink 3 entire fifths of whiskey without blacking out. The guy who invented sea monkeys was a white supremacist, so if you ever bought this bullshit, you indirectly contributed to the Klan.
You have no idea. Do you know who these two are? Comment below if you think you know, but don't cheat. I'm gonna answer in 3, 2, 1. They erased the mother of the Bible, and with her they erased the truth. Her name was Ashera, and this is Yahweh. She was called the Queen of Heaven. She stood beside El in the oldest text, the father of the gods. Later, when Yahweh rose in Israelite tradition, she didn't vanish, she came with him. Kuntalit Ajrud proves this. This is concept art based on what was found there. Yahweh and his Ashera. But as prophets demanded purity, they tore down her shrines. They banned her name. They rewrote her out of history. Still, she remains in ancient texts and hidden temples in the divine DNA of the Abrahamic Bible. You were told to worship the Father, but the Mother was there all along. And by forgetting her, they rewrote the entire story. If you want to meet the true gods behind your faith, you need to read World War Gods, the biography of Yahweh. It is going to blow.
Shut up. No one's trying to buy your book. You're boring me. You know what I mean? Do something interesting. Get out of my face.
This video loses color every single frame. So I edited this video so that in every single frame, specific colors are slowly being faded out. Like right now if you're watching it, I'm slowly fading out all of the pink colors on this video. But it really shouldn't matter too much because there's barely any pink colors. Next, red is now starting to fade away. Remember, your eyes detect red faster than almost any other color. So now the video is starting to feel very uncomfortable now that red's gone. But here we have yellow and orange starting to fade away all at once. And your brain might think something's wrong with this video because the colors for light and warmth have disappeared. And finally, this is when every other color that I haven't mentioned starts to fade away and the video is about to be colorless. And for some people, this is actually how the world looks all the time due to color blindness. It isn't just a filter, but now that the colors are almost fully gone, it really shows how color changes how the world feels.
To be honest, I don't think that the issue here is colors missing or them fading away. It's his brain cells missing and fading away because something wrong with this dude. I don't mean to judge, but he's irritating me. I'm gonna still keep him in the video though. Shouts out to him, little cutie.
This clown set out to film what was supposed to be just harmless prank, but things went way too far. What started as ordinary content suddenly turned into something far more serious, when in a split second, a prankster became an unexpected hero. They were filming at a nearly empty subway station. A young woman stood alone on the platform when 3 men began drifting closer to her. At first, it might have seemed innocent, just strangers waiting for the train. Originally, the clown had planned to prank the girl, but something felt off when the men rose from their seats and moved towards her. And that's when the clown stepped into the shot. With 2 baseball bats in hand, he stood directly in the man's path. He didn't speak, he didn't joke, he just stared. And suddenly, it didn't feel like a prank anymore. The tension was undeniable. The men paused, exchanged looks, then backed away. Seconds later, they took off running. Just like that, a silly stunt turned into a real rescue. Not because it was planned, but because someone paid attention when others might have looked away. But what do you think? Was it coincidence, or did he sense the danger just in time?
Shouts out to the clown, I guess, but I think we all agreed that we still hate all of them, you know what I mean? This one probably redeemed himself, but we still don't like them. You know, stay away from me. Most of y'all be causing trouble and messing with people for no reason, you know what I mean? Stop being weirdos. Get your clown ass out.
All of the movies, Scary Movie 6 is going to be parodying. I've seen the leaks, you've seen the leaks, and it doesn't look like they're holding back at all. Now, obviously, I can't show you the leaks. I'm just waiting for the official trailer to drop. But the movie list itself is extremely long. And when it comes to the other movies in the franchise, you already know that they go over the top and extreme, and I already know this movie is going to be controversial. Some of the movie parodies I'm looking most forward to seeing is Terrifier, which if you've seen the clip, Art the Clown is literally handing out body parts at the mall and ends up handing out something outrageous. You then have other movies like Megan, Ma, Halloween, I Know What You Did Last Summer, Longlegs. Of course, Scream, which they've parodied in almost every single scary movie we've ever seen. Smile, The Substance, A Quiet Place, Sinners, and The Watchers. Now, I already know they're gonna do something outrageous with Smile because we already know smiling is one of the biggest new horror movie tropes. And I could just see somebody sitting across the room doing some demonic smile and something popping off. We also know Regina Hall is coming back to play Brandy, and if you've seen the leaks, she's actually gonna be dressed up as Ma from the scary movie Ma. And we have Anna Faris coming back playing Sydney Campbell, but dressed up as Laurie Strode from Halloween. Now look, as you know, when it comes to the scary movie franchise, there is absolutely no holding back, which is why the movies have always done so well and been so funny. And I honestly can't wait for the official trailer to drop so I can sit here and laugh along with everybody, because we already know, and we've seen from the clips before Scream 7 plays, this movie is going to be hysterical.
Honestly, I never really cared about movies, especially the horror ones like Scream and Scary Movie and whatever. They just don't appeal to me, you know. I'm a little sensitive, even though I may be a big man. Yeah, it's not my thing, you know. I like watching SpongeBob and Disney princesses, I guess. You can judge me all you want. That's me. I'm just playing, but yeah, I don't like horror movies.
She lost her life because she mispronounced a word. Lydia Schatz was born on March 15th of 2002 and was originally from Liberia. Kevin and Elizabeth Schatz lived in Paradise, California with their 6 biological children. The couple decided they wanted to add more to their family, so they headed to Liberia to adopt 3 children, including Lydia. What Lydia and her 2 siblings thought were going to be a loving home was the complete opposite. On February 5th of 2010, Lydia was harmed so badly with a 1/4-inch plastic tube just because she mispronounced a word. Kevin and Elizabeth held down Lydia for 9 hours and harmed her so badly on her back that it caused severe tissue damage, and that following day she passed away. Lydia's 11-year-old sister Zariah was also harmed by Kevin and Elizabeth because allegedly she was a bad influence and a liar. She was hospitalized and in critical condition, but thankfully she survived. When Kevin and Elizabeth were being questioned, they stated that they used child discipline teachings used by fundamentalist Christian organizations. Investigators discovered that Kevin and Elizabeth were also doing this to their biological children and were even teaching their oldest daughter to join in on doing this to her siblings. In court, Kevin was found guilty and sentenced to a minimum of 22 years, and Elizabeth was also found guilty and sentenced to 13 years in prison.
Is this a normal thing for a husband to say in a 911 call about his missing wife?
Hi, this is Steve Bechtel calling. I'm missing a person, and I was wondering if you maybe had an extra.
Now, back in 1997, Steve Bechtel was waiting at home for his 24-year-old wife, Amy, to come back. But Amy would never be seen again. Her car was eventually found in an area that she was known to jog in, but there were 3 weird things about the scene. And this is all coming from a deep dive I just did on the Heart Starts Pounding podcast on the most terrifying backwoods disappearances I've ever heard of. But 1, Amy's car was unlocked and the keys were inside. 2, the only thing missing was her wallet, which she didn't take jogging with her. And 3, this area was all wet and muddy, but there were no footprints near the car, which made people wonder if she had even been in the car when it was left there to begin with. Now, the whole thing looked super weird, but it looked even weirder when the 911 call was released that Steve had made to report Amy's disappearance.
And I was wondering if you maybe had an extra.
To a lot of people, it didn't really sound like a husband who was ultra concerned with his wife's disappearance. He's making a joke. Now, Amy was never seen again. No witnesses ever saw her. Her credit cards and bank accounts have not been used. No one has ever been charged with anything regarding her disappearance. But the closer you look at this case, the weirder it starts to seem. And that's why I did a full deep dive this week on the Heart Starts Pounding podcast. These are backwoods disappearance stories that are so scary, I don't go running by myself anymore. So definitely check it out wherever you get your podcasts.
Did my guy literally call the cops and say, my wife is missing, do you have an extra one? Like you're basically admitting that you're guilty on this phone call, to be honest. Like, it doesn't get any creepier or suspect than this. Yeah, hello officer, my wife is missing, do you have an extra one? Only a sociopath and a psychopath would joke about their wife being missing, but he obviously doesn't care because he's the reason why. Damn.
He ate his girlfriend for dinner and then wrote poetry about the situation. 40-year-old Jose Luis Calva Cepeda was from Mexico City, and on the surface he seemed quiet, intelligent, and artistic. He wrote poetry, spoke about love, and he desperately wanted to be recognized as a serious writer, but behind closed doors, something darker was happening. Jose Luis grew up in extreme poverty, and for many years he dealt with physical and emotional abuse as a child. Later on, he would struggle with addiction, unstable relationships, and untreated mental illness.
Despite everything, he wanted to become a famous poet and talk about love, pain, and suffering, though he never got the recognition that he thought he would. Friends would describe Jose Luis as possessive, obsessive, and deeply insecure, especially with romantic relationships. In 2007, Jose Luis started a toxic relationship with a woman named Alejandra. This relationship was marked by jealousy and control, and when she tried to leave him, that's when everything spiraled. The couple had an argument inside of his apartment, and Jose Luis ended her life. But instead of him calling police or fleeing the scene, he stayed at his apartment, dismembered her body, and over the next several days, he cooked and consumed her. During this time, he continued writing his poetry, and he even wrote some pieces about the murder, claiming that it was love, loss, and transformation. Once Alejandra's family had reported her as missing, police traced her last known location to Jose Luis's apartment. Once they went inside, they found human remains in containers, cookware, and even blood all over the apartment. When Jose Luis was being arrested, he did not resist. He seemed very calm and almost like he was proud of himself. He claimed that he did this out of love and curiosity, and she would always be a part of him. In 2007, before sentencing could be finalized, Jose Luis was found dead in his cell.
Hey everybody, my name is Jose Luis. I'm basically an author who writes books about love and joy. I also killed and ate my wife. I mean, what are we even talking about here? Like, he wants to be an author about love and like compassion and empathy, ends up cooking and eating his wife. It doesn't get any weirder than this. On to the next one, I'm done. Anyways, y'all, episode is over. Hopefully you enjoyed it. It was a little dark compared to the ones we've done in the past, but it's all good though. We managed to survive this one. Alright, y'all, have a good rest of your day.